Say that again. You can deploy.
You can deploy for a Raspberry Pi, and it will use the frame buffer to render the widgets.
In other words, you can roughly deploy everything without installing anything too heavy on Raspberry Pi. So it's
And there's other targets I'm not
that is
really.
huge.
Oh, where is it? Oh, okay, it's moved here.
One of the biggest.
It supports something called
An
Sail
excellent-
OS. Sailfish OS.
Selfish. Okay. Nokia is coming back.
And another one called what is it? It's a guy who sent a pull request last week, I think.
Symbian.
Okay, Asteroid OS.
Sorry? Asteroid OS.
Bit of the history. You guys know that QT was owned
From
by
Nokia.
Nokia.
Yeah. That's
So,
right. It was
yeah,
originally designed for
licensing
Symbian development, wasn't it?
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
think that maybe that all the new Nokia phones.
Oh yeah, for watches.
Mm-hmm.
And since Qt 5.8 was released a few months ago, now it can run on non-3D accelerated hardware, which used to be a requirement. And on some targets, it just needs few kilobytes of memory to run, based on what you're doing. Like before, you could not run Qt apps on like 16 megabyte hardware. Now you can. So Go plus that, it's probably lots of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So it's using the latest version of Qt.
Yes, it brings lots of fixes, and I bump this requirement.
That's the problem with Qt.
You can
5
still
on the
build
Pi.
for older version, but it's better to.
Shall
stick
we
on
corrupt all the Raspberry Pi users? Shall we
Oh,
corrupt all
I
the
think we should.
who else?
It's just a Linux box.
To yeah,
How much?
how to push Docker to everyone else? All the Raspberry Pi
Webview?
users.
That's a Q thing, right? Qt.
with you.
Yeah. Is that not like with a full web browser?
Oh, WebView. There is a WebView. You can embed.
Yeah. Definitely a web view.
Web
Used to have
came
it
from
all.
Qt also.
Well, KHTML technically.
Hmm?
WebKit came from
So in QML, I can use
yeah,
the
I'm sorry,
WebView.
yeah.
In this case, he created a browser in QML.
Can't remember.
So there's the back button, forward, reload,
Is it the
stop,
media player.
and this is the web view.
No, the media player wasn't that good.
And I'm actually using it in one of my projects to embed some payment form.
Okay.
So their API is so bad, it's better for me to embed it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we know.
What?
No, recently Chrome was showing up that a lot of those HTTP is considered insecure, especially if you have any password fields.
Mm.
So
Warned you.
they're trying to push everything to HTTPS these days.
And it doesn't even, the latest one, it doesn't even allow you to proceed. It just doesn't let you.
Yeah.
So that's why you use Qt. It allows.
Oh,
So yeah, so
actually,
Um,
this weird thing with HTTP.
for one, my work I do every day, we build like 10, 12 microservices, all available through gRPC. And for a while, we spent weeks for every of them write a small web interface where you manage the data of that service. And at some point, I said, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. And we created with Qt, QML, gRPC, and Go the user interface of that. And we needed just 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks, and we had not any experience with QML and Qt before. So from scratch, we built this rich interface that use gRPC to do all the calls to all the microservices at the same time with Go routine. So they're streamed when there's a new event. We just get it, we display it, and it's so much easier than web shitty interface. No more validation, no more JavaScript. Well, there's still JavaScript.
You just wrote some JavaScript.
Few lines. Just few lines. And Go developers, well, like when I ask for new features, I expect the merge request to come with the update on the admin interface to bring add the admin interface for that new feature. And those guys, they have less experience in Qt and QML than me and the others, and they're fine with that. So they do some tests, change few things around, then it's working. So because it's used internally by the team, we don't really care about how it looks. But at the end, it looked nicer than the web interface. We don't need to write any CSS. It just looked nice. See, this map thing, it's the gray button or ugly. Beside that, everything looked nice. And it's just few lines of code. And I didn't know anything about mapping before. Just the part I struggled the most was the conversion between latitude and longitude. And no, but like longitude and latitude, when you flip them, a latitude of 100 something is invalid, and Qt just did nothing. Like I set the bad value instead of just complain about it, it just did nothing. But beside that, well, she did the QML and I did the Go. Super easy.
Interesting.
So, and next time you want to write a user interface for something you keep for yourself, use that. Faster than HTML, and you can also publish that application.
What's that line from the end of Casablanca? This could be the beginning of a beautiful friendship. I like this.
I think that's it. So, questions?
Yeah, before I stop. Questions?
Well, this meshes up my idea of learning a
Oh,
new
yeah.
language every year.
QML is a new
There's-
language.
I've done it before.
Okay.
When you start, sorry.
I was looking through my pictures. I've got a whole load of interesting pictures.
This is C++ only, but
Mm.
it's great to first learn and then do simple prototyping.
Does it
Erased it.
does it do QML in
Yes.
Qt? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now I think in this case I erased it a few hours ago. So no, but Bluetooth. So let's call it what we're doing. Pizza selector.
Yeah.
Design. Oh. Like here. So it created for me the main, here, the window size, title, did some few things for me. So here, XXX. Go,
Management will love this.
go back here. And wait, where is it? No, here. No, okay. Here the application window. XXX. So here there's an attribute. I can like style. Here is the placement of widgets. To do things such as responsive, you have to. Okay, I should go to. Here. Okay, roll here. So the way you do placement in this. Where is it? same size as the parent. So it will fill the whole window. The margin all 0. Okay. Well, indeed, I don't want to the bottom, so not bottom. This will be a fixed size of like 200. And I want another thing below in the picture. The anchor is the rectangle at the top. Oh yeah. Here. So I want a little space in between. And let's see. This. Moving not parent. Yes.
This might give React Native, you guys heard of it, a run for the money.
Yeah. So this
Not
is
sure
how
which
you
is
make
better.
the widget move around.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if I run the Linux app again, is it still open? Yes. Where is the guy? I'm here. Where's that? Okay. See.
That's like the Energizer Bunny, that one, isn't it?
So it resized.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a framework, what's the name? Stratify Labs, that mimics some of the concept of Bootstrap for QML. So you just
Mhm.
provide a little bit of info, you bring plenty of widgets, and it automatically resize for you. And when you change rotation, it also resize for you. It's very nice. So yes, there's editor like that.
I was just thinking of embedding a web view and put Bootstrap on it.
And there's the same concept here. You have to create your own bridge if you need one. So if I'm going back here, design, I want to import. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, I want to import charts or there's a lot of 3D things I did not really work with. Sensor, what's sensor? Now there is sensor. Maybe it's not something you drag and drop. Maybe it's like the position for the GPS. But I don't have much experience in that. I mostly work straight here. And she also has way more experience than
But I
me.
never use
That either. Yeah. Other question? No?
Any gotchas? Any things to watch out for that was actually harder to do when doing a Qt in Go?
It's hard to know what are the property you can set. Like here, image, okay? I want to know what's inside image. In Go, you have access to the standard library.
Mhm.
Here, you know, I know what's the thing I can do here. X, no, Y, and after a while, okay, U, and one of them will, okay, like, what? It's sad because you have to go in the help somewhere.
But for some it can. They wrote it automatically.
Yes.
That is for
Oh yes, sensor. What is it?
So is this another, well, literally another library to learn? Not so much of a language, but library.
what's a sensor? Okay, I know. Well, let's say something. Okay, is your web view? No.
No, it was the bottom. Three down. No,
Okay, here. So it's all C++ generated doc. So it's tough to move that documentation all the way back to Go, because if you look at the Go code here for WebView, it's generated code. Okay, set pointer what? Okay, where I'm going with this thing? It's very tough. But it's in Qt everything depends on a few inherits from few classes, Q objects or Q item. Once you're familiar with Q object and Q item, you assume most of everything. And it's easy to just Google whatever you're trying to do in QML. It's okay. So there's this function in C++, which if I try to search, where is my mouse? Like here. Controller. Okay. So here, lm dot. This is here. I have the list of all methods I can. And there's a lot.
Are you using the IntelliJ or are you using the
IntelliJ.
new? There was a the Go IDE.
Yeah,
From
just
the-
IntelliJ.
Okay.
Because the other IDE only support IntelliJ Go.
Okay.
And in my case, I do some Python, JavaScript, C++, C, and no++.
Kotlin.
So I rather stick with that.
Mm.
So yeah, a little bit of poking, and you can figure a lot of like this QString, this model. I never used that before, and I was trying to use this the type core QString list model in QML. Didn't work. I had to convert it to a variant,
Oh.
which I didn't know until I Googled around and I found that all the guys convert from their type to C++ Q variant type, and I tried 2 variants. It worked.
It will be interesting to debug. Speaking of which, one of the FAQs, the frequently asked questions, especially those guys new to Go, was that debugging. Is there anything that you guys use to debug, especially the Qt apps?
Logs.
Okay.
Logs.
A story of life. We don't use no debuggers.
But
I'm fine. It's just
we come to
FAQ.
almost anyone.
yes.
Use any log
Yeah.
library? No?
The standard one.
Just log dot okay.
And then we we modify we change the output of the standard logging library to output to syslog.
Here, in all my other project, I use logrus. You know logrus?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, I use that.
But problem with logrus is that it's slow, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Because you
Mm.
pass any types, and it will use reflect to figure what's the type and turn it into a string. And Uber will zap. It's a structure library that is very, very fast. It's probably one of the fastest around. So here, logger with type string, so here controller. So the logger here will keep the value type, no, the key type and value controller in the output here.
I think this is fast because it doesn't need to figure out what type are you supplying with. Like Logos
Yeah.
is just supply, it's just accept interface. And
Yeah.
try to figure out.
So here like
Hang on, what is the Zap library again from Uber? Is it a type library or what does it do in
It's a
Zap?
logging, right?
login.
Logging, okay.
But
I
it
see,
only
I see.
supports
I see,
HTTP and standard output. While in Logrus, I can log to Greylog, to syslog, to any kind of
JSON.
remote target. I even have a Logrus output for Android, which use the
Logcat.
Need,
Yeah.
huh? Logcat,
Logcat,
yes,
yep.
Logcat. But yeah, Zap is very nice. Like here, I create some context, so it's this function, it's this error value, it's this line of code will clear the error. So it's great to debug in production.
Mhm.